This lecture is about Toulmin argumentation, and this style of argumentation is best for what we're going to call ill-defined problems. And as you know, all of the essays you write for me have ill-defined problems at their center. So that's what we use in our class, Toulmin argumentation. So let's talk a little bit about that. There are some sources I used in this lecture. They're all listed here on the PowerPoint that you can download on Canvas. First, let's talk about the value of Toulmin argumentation. Toulmin structure is a very good way to handle argument when applied to ill-defined problems or questions to which there is no one good answer. So an example might be, what is a solution to homelessness? Many possible solutions. There's no one good answer. To argue for one solution would take facts and analysis. Okay. There are limitations to Toulmin's argumentation. Here, and this is much advised, the Toulmin model is not much use as a template for generating arguments. You shouldn't try to fit every argument into the model's format. Some arguments won't work. But Toulmin's argumentation is a flexible tool to sort of look at an argument you've written and make sure that you have all the essential components. It's a sort of checklist to see what your arguments have. Now, according to Toulmin argumentation, there are 6 elements to argument: the claim, grounds, a warrant, backing, qualifier, and rebuttal. And we're going to go over each of those in this lecture, okay? So this is just an overall list. We're going to talk about these soon. Now, the equivalent, what you've been doing already, is very similar. So even though this seems like a new style of argumentation, this is actually what you've been doing the entire semester long. Consider this. A Toulmin claim is much the same as our essay's thesis. Toulmin grounds or data is much the same as the evidence or quotes we use in an essay. Toulmin's warrants, much the same as analysis or reasoning in your essay. Backing, additional support, or evidence for your evidence. That would be our second quote in each body paragraph. In fact, that's the one it's most difficult to convince students they need. And once it's there, it just seems right? So this is why. And that's because a good argument has evidence and evidence for that evidence. Toulmin also recommends a qualifier, that is, any limitations on the topic or evidence to be listed in the argument, and requires a rebuttal, that is, addressing the concerns of the opposition. And we do rebuttals when we do our discussion forums, right? Okay. So there are a couple of models of Toulmin argumentation. I don't know, they don't work so great for me, but I've got them here. Maybe they'll work well for you. So here we have a claim, and the claim is Mike cannot make a sandwich. Okay? The data is Mike got a failing score on his exam about making a sandwich. That's our evidence, right? Notice that you can prove that, you can point to that, that is a thing that happened. Your analysis would be this warrant. Poor performance on the sandwich exam correlates with low performance of making sandwiches. And we provide additional evidence, or that second quote, criterion validity study of sandwich exam scores and sandwich assembly performance at the sandwich shop. All of those make the argument. Also, don't forget to include a rebuttal and possibly rebuttal evidence. Okay, so that's sort of the setup for Toulmin argumentation. But again, it's really what we've been doing with essay structure all semester long, so it's already things you know. There's another example here as well. You can take a look at that on your own if you'd like to. All right. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up now is that many of you are struggling with Essay 2 and trying to solve the difficult problem of proving one cause as more responsible than the other. Well, there are 6 elements to argument. Again, we've seen them already, but let's go through their definitions. First is claim, and the claim is what we call in our class a thesis. And that is, let me adjust this. The claim is a statement of fact, a statement of opinion that the author is asking her or his audience to accept as true. Grounds, right, those are our quotes. The grounds are the facts, data, or reasoning upon which the claim is based. Essentially, the grounds are the facts making the case for the claim. The warrant is what links the grounds to the claim. This is what makes the audience understand how the grounds are connected to supporting the claim. Sometimes the word is implicit, not directly stated, but in our essays, in academic essays, it is always directly stated, right? That's that analysis section of our body paragraph. Don't forget backing. The backing gives additional support for the claim by addressing different questions related to your claim. That's our second quote in our paragraphs. Also think about adding qualifiers. Those are limits to the claim or an understanding that the claim is not true in all situations. Qualifiers add strength to claims because they help the audience understand the author does not expect their audience to be true, their opinion to be true for all of the audience or for those ideas to work all of the time. If writers use qualifiers that are too broad, such as always or never, their claims can be really difficult to support. So qualifiers like some or many help limit the claim, which can add strength to your claim. And finally, think about rebuttal. We're going to use this quite a bit in Essay 4, so hang on to it. A rebuttal addresses the claims of the other side and accounts for inconsistencies or differences. So that's a summary of Toulmin argumentation. Again, don't let it overwhelm you. This is all stuff we've been doing. Now I'm only explaining why we've been doing what we're doing. All right, so again, just that list. The claim is essentially our thesis. The grounds or data is essentially our evidence or quotes. Our warrant is our analysis. The backing is additional support, our second quote. A qualifier is a limitation. And a rebuttal addresses the concerns of the opposition. Okay, let's talk about that warrant section because that's what everybody is struggling with right now. You're trying to prove one cause is more responsible than another cause, and there are many ways to do that, but the 6 most logical ways to do that, according to Toulmin, are these choices, okay? So you can think about these in terms of looking for specific evidence, or you can think of these as using them for your analysis section. Again, this provides the reasoning or analysis for your essay, but you may want to think about them while you're doing your research. So there are many types of analytical reasoning used in warrants. You've seen this already. I put it in this module before, but let's look at it again. It's very important. You can use generalizations. Generalizations are what tell us what is true of a well-known sample is likely to hold for a larger group or population, or that certain things consistent with the sample can be inferred of the group or population. You could also try an analogy, arguing from a specific case or example to another example, reasoning that because the 2 examples are alike in many ways, they are also alike in one further specific way. You could try a sign. Certain types of evidence are symptomatic of a wider principle or outcome. You can try causality, arguing that a given occurrence is the result of or is affected by something. Authority argues someone in authority has verified your evidence. And principle, arguing with a principle that is widely regarded as valid. All right? And one more time, to define that warrant, a warrant is the analysis or reasoning that connects the grounds or evidence or our quotes to the claim or thesis. A warrant is the principle, provision, or chain of reasoning that connects the grounds and reason to the claim. And in the real world, often warrants are implied. In an essay, however, and this is important, your warrants must be explicit, and that's the difficult part of English 101. All right, everybody. One more time, I just want to make sure you understand that is what matches our body paragraph worksheet. Remember, each body paragraph gives evidence, gives analysis or a warrant, gives backing or evidence for our evidence, and more analysis or more warranting. I don't know. All right, everybody. So this is not new information. It's just new terminology. I hope it helps. Bye.